What's going on, y'all? I want to speak on an extremely controversial topic. It's been extremely controversial for, decades at this point. I'm 19, and I know it's been talked about my entire life. And, it was a problem even before, I was born. But it's really starting to pick up in the past 10 years. And that's the whole debate on, the debate and the issue of Muslim extremism. Terrorism, I should say, rather. And every single time there's a terrorist attack, whether it's the attack in Manchester at the Ariana Grande concert, or just a few days back in London, with the guys at the van, they ran the people over, then got out and started stabbing people. Every single time you have two groups of people on these videos, and it's just a recurring theme every single time. You have the people on the far right who say, it's all these Muslims. All these Muslims, they use the word all. All these Muslims need to be held accountable and blah, 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 blah. And, I don't really need to go into detail why that's just ludicrous. I mean, that's preposterous. Obviously, all Muslims aren't terrorists. There's 1.4, I believe, there's 1.4 billion terrorists in the world. How many of those people are extremists? Maybe 50,000, maybe 100,000, even if it was 1 million. That's minuscule compared to the massive amounts of terrorists that don't behave like that. So clearly they're wrong. I really don't need to go into detail on that. They're just naive. But then you have the people, both sides are naive, but then you have the people who are on the far left, and they say the same thing every time. These people aren't really Muslims, and blah, 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 and all this other shit they say. And what you guys don't understand is, in order to defeat your enemy, part of defeating your enemy is understanding your enemy. You don't have to agree with your enemy, obviously, because if you did, they probably wouldn't be your enemy. But you have to understand your enemy. And the longer we either do one of two things, we group all these Muslims in together with these extremists, these ISIS members, these Al-Qaeda members, Taliban, whatever the case is, or just lone wolves who just do this crazy shit on their own. Grouping all of them together, or on the other side of the spectrum, acting like these people aren't Muslim, they're not religious, and act like Islam doesn't play a role, we're never going to defeat these people. We're never going to stop this reoccurring issue. Like I said, this has been going on for decades, and we still haven't made any progress. If anything, not if anything, it's definitely gotten, tremendously worse. Tremendously worse. And like I said, every single time, it's the same things. And it seems like some people, these people on the far left, are almost more concerned with Islamophobia and being tolerant, not being a bigot, not being a xenophobe, and all these other adjectives. They're more concerned with that than actually trying to solve the problem. Let me tell you something. These people are radical Muslims. Clearly, I don't think all Muslims are like that. I know plenty of Muslims. Some of my best friends are Muslim. Matter of fact, I know plenty of Muslims. These are, they can be upstanding citizens of society just like any other religion. And then there's crazy people in their religion just like every other religion as well. There's radical, extreme members. That's why they're called extremists. Okay? Anybody that's willing to blow themselves up for any cause, we can call them an extremist. And if their cause is for Islam, for Allah, which just means God, for people that still don't know that. I still see people that don't know that. But if their cause is for the Arabic word for God, Allah, in the name of Islam, guess what? They're a Muslim extremist, period. And, just to give you guys, help you understand, if I pick up a Bible, and I believe this verse is in the book of Leviticus. I'm not completely sure, so don't quote me on that. But if I pick up a Bible and I read the verse that says homosexuality is an abomination, and in my already crazy mind, that basically tells me, that's basically God's way of telling me that I need to go and kill all gays. And I start going into gay clubs, planting bombs. I start going around stabbing, running over gays, just committing tremendous acts of terror against gays. Then guess what? I'm a radical Christian. Because in my crazy ass head, I believe that what I'm doing is what God wants me to do. I think that this religious text that was, created to instill morality and values within people, principles, and I turn that around and I use it to to basically impute violence within me and my followers, then guess what? I'm a radical Christian. The same way these extremists, they honestly believe that what they're doing is for the greater good of Islam and Allah. That makes you a radical Muslim extremist. And I don't know why this is such a controversial topic. You can say that and not believe that all Muslims are, you know, basically crazy and evil. You can say that. And, you know, like I said, it's not debatable. Like I just said, or, you know, just giving another example. If Buddha told me, if I'm a follower of Buddha and I read the story of Buddha and I read how he, you know, he went out to the wilderness and he lived out there peacefully. He just meditated for, I believe, years. I want to say like 20 years. I don't know if that's, maybe it was 20 months. I believe 20 was there. I'm not too knowledgeable pertaining to Buddhism. But if I read that and basically in my crazy ass head, for whatever reason, I think that's telling me to go out to the woods and, the hell? And I think that's telling me to go out to the woods and kill every person I find living out in the woods or something crazy, then guess what? I'm a radical Buddhist. I'm so tired of people just not living in reality. Like I said, you have one side on the far right who doesn't live in reality because they think all Muslims are like that, which is, like I said, it's just, it's an asinine mindset. It's preposterous. Then you have the people on the far left who are just denying that these people, that they're denying that religion plays a role. It plays a huge role. It plays a huge role. Now, obviously, mental illness is the #1 role to why these people are behaving like this. But, you know, at the same time, we just have to acknowledge that these people are studying these books. They're studying these mentors who are brainwashing them and are using the name of Islam to commit these tremendous acts of terror. Until we basically acknowledge that and realize that, come back to reality, we're never going to win, because we're too goddamn divided to even come together to devise a plan. And, you know, when I get back home, I'm going to make another follow-up video about this, speaking on, you know, Donald Trump's whole travel ban plan, which, you know, is another extremely controversial topic. And I was just going to get my thoughts on that. But, like I said, I just want to make a quick round on this. Stop acting like these people aren't Muslim. It's ridiculous. They're radical Muslims. They're extreme Muslims. That's why they're called Muslim extremists, because they're extreme. They're radical. Radical and extreme are oftentimes synonymous. So, you know, I'm just so tired of people not living in reality. These people are saying praise Allah before they commit these tremendous acts of terror. If that's not, and they're blowing themselves up and other people, they're blowing up children, women, innocent people that have nothing to do with anything. If that's not only are they religious, but they're extremely religious. You know how religious you have to be to blow yourself up in the name of your God? I'm not doing that goddamn shit. I'm not that damn religious. You know, I believe God, and, you know, well, that's another topic. I'm not going to talk about my religious viewpoints right now, but you have to be extremely religious to do that. So just stop with the nonsense. It's okay to call these people Muslim and not be a racist. I have Muslim friends. I love them. I've met Muslim people in my life. A lot of them were upstanding citizens of society. I see Muslims almost on a daily basis. You have bad Muslims, you have good Muslims. Most people are just okay Muslims, just like most people are just okay Christians, okay atheists, okay Jewish people, you know, whatever the case is. So, like I said, come back to reality. I'm going to basically make a part 2. It's going to be titled different than this one, but it's basically talking about the same thing, you know, the travel ban, and, you know, basically how I believe that we could solve this problem with the extremist groups. So I appreciate y'all watching. Holla at y'all later.